I'll record it so that you guys can go back to this. Yeah, so I'm going to talk you through just like the basics of pranayama, what in your practice, the way the Krishnamacharya teaches the breath, and how I work with asana and the breath and how it connects. And then the breath that we're going to be guiding, we're going to do together. Ooh, my brain's a little bit today. Is samma vritti, samana, breath, which is samana. Sam means same. So it's calming, it's soothing, it's good for anxiety. So last night was a really strong, it's the last of the supermoons that we've had. We've had quite a few supermoons, and this one was in Scorpio, which is really intense. So there's lots of heightened emotions and things like that. So we're going to do that, and because of that as well, I'm going to talk you through a guided metta meditation. So that's the Buddhist loving kindness meditation, and feel free to stay on afterwards and we can do a full moon ceremony of forgiveness and gratitude. But if it's not for you, that's okay. I'm gonna let you go because it's not part of the 200 hours. It's just if you want to join me in doing that. Okay, so feel free to take notes. I've got lots of stuff I want to share with you before we do our practice. Okay, so the breath facilitates the movement, and the movement facilitates the breath. So, but you should be consistently using Ujjayi breath, especially if you're teaching. So you've probably noticed from doing your 20-minute sequence and from watching online, and you'll realize that you're noticing the way people teach now, that if there's a silence, you should really be able to hear the teacher. The teacher's breath should be audible. So it allows you to know that that connection is there. So it's like connecting to that Ujjayi breath, making sure that your Ujjayi breath is audible so that your students, you don't have to keep calling them in and reminding them to breathe. And you'll notice that with beginners. When you're teaching beginners, they forget to breathe, especially in more advanced postures, where they should be breathing. You shouldn't be teaching really advanced postures to beginners, but you know what I mean. You do see that everyone's faces go purple. It's just a reminder of the breath if you're breathing with them. Okay, so Ujjayi breath establishes a central focus for asana practice, and it also prepares for really opening up with pranayama. So my practice recently has been I do my asana, and then I do a pranayama, and then it really helps me to lead into a really deep meditation. But find your routine. Make sure you have a routine, because just a bit like brushing your teeth, washing your face. Make sure your practice is part of your routine. Okay, so Ujjayi is breath controlled at the throat, not the nostrils, and the structure of the whole body can be felt to participate and regulate the movement of breath in asana and pranayama. So all the movements are linked to the breath, the Ujjayi breath in particular. So ideally, when practicing asana, every move we make is linked to a specific breath. Certain movements go with the inhalation, certain ones go with the exhalation. But some of you I know have tried Kundalini. I'm partial to a bit of Kundalini, and some of the Kundalini breathing techniques go against the Hatha teachings, which I find interesting. And there's a method to the madness, and it's scientific, and it also changes the cogs in your brain. You get so used to stuff that you almost do it and switch off and check out. So it's nice to do things in a different way, and it starts to spark up the neurons in your brain too. Okay, so Ujjayi means that we can hear the sound of the breath in the throat. So we breathe through the nostrils only, but rather than sucking the air in at the nostrils, we control it by using the glottis, which is in the throat near the voice box. And this is what creates the unique sound of Ujjayi breath. So you're all aware of this, but I'm not making assumptions. I'm just going over and reiterating what you probably already know. Okay, so using the Ujjayi breath gives the practitioner much more control over the breath than regular nostril breathing. So you're able to control the breath control, pranayama. So this is the breath we use when in deep sleep. It has a calming effect on the nervous system and the mind. So there are very few situations where Ujjayi breath may not be appropriate. For example, severe asthmatics. Okay, so the Ujjayi breath is powerful and can cause some dizziness in the beginning as an initial detox occurs. So you're really starting to oxygenate your body. You'll find that some of your beginners will go, oh, I feel all lightheaded afterwards, because they're actually breathing. We all tend to, the general public tend to really use only, well, we all tend to use only a third of our lungs, and the general public, especially if they're stressed out, practice shallow breathing. So they're not really oxygenating your body. Okay, so it can also be related to high or low blood pressure, low blood sugar, hunger, or forcing the neck back too far, and pinching the nerves in the neck. So if there's dizziness, you can tell your students to lie down and relax until the feeling subsides. So Ujjayi breath is also known as victory breath, ocean breath, and Darth Vader breath. So the quality of our breath is extremely important because it expresses our inner feelings. So I always, at the beginning of class, well, not always, but I try to get people to check in with their breath and check if they've got any rough edges of their exhale. So it's a really good way of seeing the rough edges of your breath can actually be connected to the rough edges of your mind. You know, it's the Patanjali says yoga is the cessation of the fluctuation of the mind stuff. So if our breath is all over the place and jaggedy, our mind tends to be. So if we can control the breath, we can help to control these fluctuations, the mind stuff. Remembering the breath is the bridge to the mind is the bridge to the soul. So after today's little lecture, I want you to go back into the heart of yoga and look at the pranayama, the part on pranayama, because there's quite a lot here. I don't want to go over and read lots of stuff that I've got in my hand here, because just that's not a lecture, just me sitting reading. So, but I would like you to go back and just really read it now after we've spoken about this, because it's really important. So something that's not in the Heart of Yoga book is something about the 5 principles of practice. So the 5 principles of yoga, distilled from Krishnamacharya, they're not only easy to understand, they're the core and the heart of Krishnamacharya's teachings. If there's only one piece of technical knowledge you can absorb, let it be this following 5 principles of practice. But this is for your own practice, not for teaching. So this is to really absorb this. But if you can get this and then take this to your students, it's going to change things. Okay? So embodying the principles is to engage the technology of the relationship that brings all the polarities into mutuality through the engagement of the inhale with the exhale, above to below. This is Hatha Yoga, the union of sun and moon, in which the heart, the whole, is realized. And so at first you can find quite a bit of conscious attention is required to consistently follow the principles. Breathing before moving, matching the length of the breath and movement. You guys, because you've been practicing for several years, this won't be, but it's coming back, and the cats are going a bit mental today. It's something to remember. Always remember, I always try to, so you can be empathetic with your students, so you're not, if you're an advanced practitioner coming and teaching advanced practices and making assumptions that everyone on the mat knows what you're speaking about, is not going to help. So coming back to the times when it was difficult for you to walk, like it was a bit like learning how to drive, where you've got to use your steering wheel, your gear stick, everything all at the same time. Oh my goodness, and now you drive automatically, you know. It's the same with your yoga practice. You know, your beginners go, oh my goodness, I've got to learn to breathe, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. So really allowing your students to find these principles. So the principles, I'll go over them. So number one is breath is movement. The body movement is the breath movement. So the movement of the body is consciously linked to the movement of the breath and is felt to be the same movement. Okay, that's one. So the breath is movement. Number two, the breath envelopes the movement. So breath starts slightly before and finishes slightly after the movement. The breath initiates the body movement. Okay. Number three, the inhalation is from above as receptivity, and the exhalation is from below as strength. So inhalation is receptivity, exhalation is from below as strength. So inhaling into the upper chest, allowing the relaxed belly to expand naturally, and exhaling by gently drawing the abdominals in and up, allowing the chest to settle naturally. Okay. So number four, asana creates bandha, and bandha serves the breath. We're going to go over the bandhas today. Bandha exists naturally and not in isolation from asana and pranayama. So you can. I know I have done in traffic. When you're stuck in traffic, I've worked with my mula bandha, but this is a woman thing. Working your pelvic floor muscles, like, oh, I'm stuck in traffic. What can I do to feel like I'm doing something useful today? Oh, work my pelvic floor. So, but you can work with the breath with that and take it more into a tantric practice. Okay, number five, asana, pranayama, and meditation are a seamless process. Asana allows for pranayama, and pranayama allows for meditation. So meditation arrives as a siddhi, a gift, and it can't be forcefully practiced. Okay, so we allow ourselves to be. So by going deeper into these five principles, we're coming back to number one, that the body movement is the breath movement. So the breath facilitates the movement, and the movement facilitates the breath. So by consistently using the audible ujjayi breath, this establishes a central focus for asana practice and prepares for pranayama. So the structure of the whole body can be felt to participate and regulate the movement of breath in asana and pranayama. All the movements are linked to the breath, the ujjayi breath in particular. So when practicing asana, every move we make is linked to a specific breath or deliberate retention. So certain movements go with the inhalation and certain ones go with the exhalation. So this is the hatha way, okay? Not the, I'm sure Hathaway is an 80s band, but let's not go there. I'm sure they were rubbish. On a more subtle level, so the whole body can participate in the breath process as energy and feeling. So we did that with our, when we did our, sorry, there's a wasp trying to get me and I'm allergic to them. I'm not going to be Buddhist here, I'm sorry. Oh, right. It was bees in the last one. I've got wasps. Okay, so in our last session, we were really using the breath to really connect there. So we were using it at a subtle level as energy and feeling. Remember, so we were inhaling, and on the hold after the inhale, we were giving our energy out to the universe, and exhaling, taking the energy into our heart center. And we're using the breath, but we're working with energy and feeling there. So that's kind of what they mean by that. So on a more subtle level, the whole body can participate. And an ancient text says that a true yogi breathes through his feet. So there you go. That's something to contemplate today. So breath is the link between the body and the mind. And this is what I reiterate to you over and over. You would be sick of me saying it, but it's so that to know it does and feel it as opposed to thinking it. So when the breath is slow, smooth and deep, the mind is quiet and peaceful. When the mind is peaceful, we're able to have a clear perception of ourselves, unobstructed by habits, associations, misperceptions and conditioning. So moving to number 2 of this principle. Okay, so the breath envelopes the movement. So what does that mean? It's almost like, what are you speaking about? So for example, Tadasana. First, the practitioner begins to inhale, beginning in the upper chest, then raises the arms above the head. The movement finishes just before the inhalation finishes. There's a slight pause after the inhalation, then the abdominal area is pulled in strongly as the exhalation begins, and the arms lower back down to the sides, coming to rest just before the exhalation finishes. When encompassing the movement with the breath, there's a subtle but important distinction to be clear about. The movement should fit inside the comfortable breath. For example, if the natural deepened breath is 8 seconds long, then the movement will be 6 or 7 seconds long. Don't stretch the breath out to fit around a long movement. Similarly, if you run out of breath during a movement, move faster or rest until your breath returns to normal. The length of the breath should dictate the speed of the movement and not the other way around. Okay? Very important. The simple reason for this is to keep the breath its natural deepened rhythm to avoid possible dizziness or fainting or gasping for breath. Over-lengthening the breath will eventually become an unpleasant struggle. The breath is the boss. So asana is the participation in the elasticity of the whole body. It is vital not to push beyond the natural elasticity because the body will snap. So specifically, asana is designed to enhance the elasticity and strength that the system must have in order to breathe. So asana is essentially the same process as pranayama. The difference is that movement of the body, is used to enhance the breath process in asana. So in pranayama, the body is stationary and is there, and there's less attention on the body and more on the subtle aspects of the breath. So the gauge of asana practice is the quality of the breath, steady and comfortable. The breath is our guide and teacher. So in yoga, the breath is the means and reference and is the very purpose of asana. Okay, so we're now moving to number 3. So the inhalation is from above as receptivity and the exhalation is from below as strength. What does this mean? So inhalation, expansive, lengthening, yin, strengthening, arching, receptivity, and female. As we breathe in, the rib cage starts to lift as the lungs fill up. Because the rib cage is attached to the spine, this causes the spine to extend and straighten or arch slightly. And as the rib cage lifts, the diaphragm moves downwards, creating an expansion in the abdominal region. Because the rib cage is lifted, it's creating more space internally. The organs are not compressed, and so the diaphragm has more freedom of movement, which means that the inhale overall is very deep and complete. So the optimal inhale is inhale into the upper chest first, allowing the rib cage to lift, then allow the abdominal area to expand as well, creating a fully filled torso. Therefore, the movements that coordinate with the inhale will be lengthening and extending back arches and raising the arms. In general, when the limbs move away from the body, it's done on an inhalation. So exhalation is contracting, softening, releasing, relaxing, strength from the base, yang and male. As the breath leaves the lungs, the ribcage starts to drop back down and the diaphragm moves back up. And this causes the belly to draw back in towards the spine. The spine also relaxes back into its normal position. And as we consciously control the exhalation, we facilitate this drawing in by pulling the abdominal muscles in further as we breathe out. Therefore, the movements that coordinate with the exhale will be forward bends, contracting, lowering the arms, and twists. In general, when the limbs move in towards the body or when the body is twisting, it is done on an exhale. The exhale creates natural bandha through the lifting and drawing in of the abdominals. It doesn't need to be forced, exaggerated, or aggressive. So moving on to number 4, don't worry, you get your practice in soon. I'll stop speaking and you can get doing, okay? So number 4, asana creates bandha and bandha serves the breath. And as you know, if you practice with me, I really like to work with the bandhas. In my personal practice, I really work with kumbhaka, and I really work with, so kumbhaka is breath retention using the bandhas. But I work with all the bandhas together because it really allows the prana to move more freely through your body. So the word bandha means to tie or to lock or to close. So in practice, it is used to lock certain areas of the torso into place. By doing this, we're able to increase the amount of waste that is burned in the agni, the fire of life. And you know that I've spoken about this in practice before, the agni, burning away anything that we're holding on to, agni. And it tends to be, we take all the stuff, the emotions and the feelings, the things that we are holding on to that we don't need anymore, and we place it behind the navel point, and then we transmute it. You can transmute it by using a violet light. We're going to do that, I think it's next week, that meditation, and it's a really powerful one. It's one that I use during difficult times, so I've used it quite a lot over these past few weeks. Okay. So there's 3 main bandhas. So it was this week actually, when we're speaking about back bends, I introduced Jalandhar bandha. So this is where the spine is straight and the chin is tucked back and down towards the chest. It's used used in back bends. It's to help stabilize the neck. Okay, and I use it sometimes, and so when I'm doing warm-ups with you guys, I do a tantric breathing technique where we interlace our fingers, take them behind the back of your neck, tuck the chin into Jalandhar bandha, and then you engage Uddiyana bandha, Mula bandha, close the eyes, and you're working with breathing quite light up and down the spine. It's a really, really great tantric technique to do first thing in the morning. Okay, so it just allows the prana to flow more freely through your body. Okay, so Uddiyana bandha is where the diaphragm and the abdomen are raised and pulled in towards the spine. So it's established after the exhalation. The exhalation draws the abdomen in and up by the completion of the exhale, and the diaphragm should be entirely drawn back into the rib cage. The feeling in the abdominal areas of being drawn in and up. And this process causes the back and the rectal muscles to contract also. So Uddiyana bandha can also be fully activated in retention after exhale. If you're interested in really finding that Uddiyana bandha, if you've not done that practice with me before, it's on. I've done a little thing on YouTube. I think it's like 10 minutes or so, where it's a little exercise, a Tantra Shakti exercise, and how to find Uddiyana Bandha, feel that sensation. Some of you who've worked with me before have done this before, and it gives you that light bulb moment. Instead of reading about Uddiyana Bandha and trying to practice it, this technique can really allow you to find that sensation. Once you find the sensation, it really allows you to integrate it more fully into your practice. Okay, Mula Bandha. So as I was speaking earlier, it's very much as women we should be using this, especially if you've had children, and if you've had children, you've had a glass of wine and gone on a kid's trampoline. You really need to have a strong Mula Bandha. Okay, so Mula Bandha is the pulling up of the pelvic floor. It's squeezing the perineum and lifting it up. So after establishing Uddiyana Bandha, we can then continue to breathe with Mula Bandha maintained. So in Mula Bandha, the area below the navel, including the rectal muscles, is held in a contracted position. Whilst the area above the navel is relaxed slightly, be cautious of complicated anatomical descriptions relevant only to male bodies. But you're not going to go deeper than that, and we're all females. Men practice Mula Bandha too, and we're not going to go into the technicalities of the male Mula Bandha right now. Okay, so I speak about in my Kundalini practice as well, and sometimes in the practice that I teach that are more of a tantric hatha flow, I speak about root lock. Root lock is engaging Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha together. Okay, it's a good one to practice on after an exhale or on a hold after an exhale. So really allows the energy to flow. Something to take in to remember that Uddiyana Bandha shouldn't be practiced by pregnant ladies. So if you're pregnant, you should be practicing Mula Bandha, but Uddiyana Bandha isn't something that should be encouraged in pregnancy. And also after hysterectomies or major abdominal surgery, you need to wait a couple of weeks until you can really start integrating Uddiyana Bandha. But Mula Bandha is still very important. Okay. So several good positions to practice bandhas are Mahamudra, and shoulder stand's a good one. And shoulder stand's a good one. So we're going to move into number 5 now. So 5 is asana allows for pranayama, and pranayama for meditation. So it kind of goes along that the breath is a bridge to the mind is a bridge to the soul. So asana allows for pranayama, pranayama allows for meditation. Meditation arrives as a seed, a gift. So deep, controlled and attentive breathing also increases clarity of mind, which you'll all be aware of. Literally the brain is energized and cleared by the uptake of oxygen. So this is why pranayama is the preparation for meditation. We could describe asana as moving pranayama, moving meditation. They're all variations of immersing our attention in the life that is our body. So Krishnamacharya's summary instruction on meditation was the Buddha was a yogi, meaning meditation should not be practiced isolated from its full original yogic context. But so many people, meditation on its own is beneficial too, but to really gain the benefits of it, really try and work with using even a few rounds of Nadi Shodhana before your meditation practice will allow you to enter the realms of meditation so much easier. Okay, so we're going to go deeper, just a little bit deeper with the 5 principles, and then move into our actual pranayama meditation. So going deeper with these 5 principles, breath assists the movement of the body. And remember that the movements are there to assist the breath. The breath will guide the practice, and the movement of the breath affects the lungs, the diaphragm, the abdomen, the spine, and the pelvic area. So as a consequence of this breath movement, there's a related impact on the body movement and vice versa. So each one affects and assists the other. So this can be easily observed in several different ways. For example, lie face down on the floor with the forehead to the mat and the palms down beside the ribcage. Exhale fully, then lift up into Bhujangasana, cobra, without using breath. Once in the position, keep the back muscles tightly engaged, and then take a full inhale and notice how the breath itself lifts you further into Bhujangasana. So this same experiment can be applied for forward bend or a twist to experience how the exhale assists these postures. So why is there such an emphasis on the breath? So from the yogic perspective, the breath is the bridge that links the body and mind, and the breath reflects what's going on in the body and mind. So consciously being attentive to the breath is the process which is yoga, which that is Patanjali's Sutra 1.2, a very important sutra. So consciously being attentive to the breath is the process which is yoga, Sutra 1.2. So being able to direct our attention in one direction without distraction, we become absorbed into that object of our attention. And this absorption, yeah, I'm rubbish saying things sometimes, absorption is the classic definition of yoga. Furthermore, the old yogis believed that our lifespan is measured not in years, but in breaths. So by restoring and mastering the breath, it is believed that the lifespan is extended. So the breath is also the major means by which we're able to concentrate prana into our system. So by cleansing and strengthening our system with the breath, we eliminate blockages, and so prana moves more freely through our bodies. So a great deal of research has been done regarding the benefits of deep breathing and how it can reduce the risk of heart disease, lower high blood pressure, and increase immunity, and much, much more. So deep, controlled breathing also improves our entire circulatory system by rejuvenating the blood. So the breath oxygenates the blood and brings fresh nutrients to all the vessels and the capillaries. So deep, natural and attentive breathing also increases clarity of mind. Literally, the brain is energized and cleared by the uptake of oxygen. So this is why pranayama is the preparation for meditation. The use of breath and our attentiveness to it acts as a safeguard against injury. The breath reflects the state of the body-mind. For example, when we're angry, the exhale is difficult. When we're grieving, the inhale is shallow. When we get frightened or injure ourselves, there's an immediate sharp intake of breath. When practicing our asana, we might think to ourselves, I want to put my head and my knee in this forward bend. If we hold our breath and mentally impose the will of the mind and the body, then we may be able to force ourselves into that position. However, this is most likely only going to result in torn hamstrings, and certainly the dual elements of sthira sukha are not present here. So furthermore, the practitioner will be susceptible to many longer-term problems, both physically and mentally, if they continue in this vein. So if this same position is approached using the breath itself will guide us as to when we're nearing the danger zone, by the simple fact that the breath will change. Instead of being the smooth, calm and controlled breath that it was previously, it may become ragged or short and difficult. So this is a clear and simple sign from the body that you need to ease off or to rest. This is how the body not only protects us, but acts as the bridge between the body and the mind. Traditionally, the practice of asana is seen as preparation for pranayama, which is seen as preparation for meditation, moving from gross and external to subtle and internal. But by incorporating the breath into the asana practice, we not only get all of the benefits already mentioned, but also have the most beneficial preparation for pranayama. For example, if our pranayama is to work up to inhale for 8, pause for 8, exhale for 16, pause for 8, then in our asana practice, we could incorporate breath extension and retention. So we did something similar, but we worked with the inhale for our back bend practice this week to really try and open up and motivate and inspire us. But you could work in a similar fashion with this. So for example, Uttanasana, standing forward bend, is done with a counted exhale and a pause after the exhalation. If this is included in the asana practice, we're already mastering and practicing pranayama. So we're warmed up for it, so to speak. And the pranayama itself will be much more focused and deep than if we'd not included breath in our asana practice. Remembering that movement facilitates the breath. So there's significant benefits from both the inhalation and the exhalation. The inhalation is a stimulating and strengthening breath. Judicious use of it in the practice can lift flagging energy and create a sense of clarity in the mind. And the exhalation is a reducing, cleansing, and relaxing breath. It can help to calm someone who is angry or agitated. And this is unparalleled for releasing stress and tension from the body and the mind. Okay, so I've given you quite a bit on the breath, but it's probably stuff that you already are aware of, but it's just really stacking. It's a bit like when we're doing our yoga practice, or if you're doing strengthening, like plank or downward facing dog, that helps to for bone stacking, prevents osteoporosis. So it's a bit like bone stacking, except we're stacking the knowledge of pranayama, so that it's going to really stay with you. Okay, so get yourself ready. We're going to work with the pranayama, the samma vritti, which is really simple, really easy to do, and I'm sure you've all practiced it before, but it's just going to allow us to help us get into our metta meditation. So move your stuff to the side, your notes, and get yourself in a comfortable seated position, ready for pranayama. And you don't need to use your fingers for this. We can, because we're working with, we're close to the full moon. The full moon is still with us. It's big energy, and then the energy is going to start dipping down. This is a great way for manifestation and abundance. So we can work with the Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance and prosperity. And we can work with the Lakshmi mudra. So the Lakshmi mudra is you're curling your fingers around like this, and then the thumb is going underneath your index fingers. Okay, so the Lakshmi mudra is this. Okay, so you can work with Lakshmi mudra, but if you're more comfortable in Gyan mudra to invoke wisdom and learning, education, or just placing your hands onto your lap, work with whatever feels right for you. Shoulders are backing down, crown of the head is lifted. So all we're doing here is you're going to just breathe in gently, smoothly and slowly, breathing into the count of 4. Exhale the count of 4. We're going to do that a few rounds, and then moving into a deeper pranayama. Okay, here we go. Okay, from here, if it feels right for you, you can move into inhale for 6, exhale for 6, slow and smooth. So you can stay on the 6, or if you want to join me, you're inhaling on 8, exhaling on 8. Go, stay with what works for you today. Keeping your eyes closed. You can keep your hands in the same mudra or just place your hands onto your lap. We're moving into our metta meditation. Okay. Back to normal breath. Okay. So be aware where your mind's at today. And if your mind's wandering, it offers us an opportunity to cultivate mindfulness and concentration. So each time we notice the mind wandering, we're strengthening our ability to recognize our experience. Become the curious observer. Don't become your mind or your thoughts, your emotions. So each time we bring the mind back to the breath, we're strengthening our ability to focus on an object. So treat it as an opportunity rather than a problem and return to the breath. So if your mind wanders, keep coming back to the breath. So let's begin the practice by bringing your mind to yourself as you sit here right now. Try to connect with your own deepest intentions for happiness, ease, and safety. You don't need to dive into stories of what make you happy, but just connect with that natural desire that you have. You can cultivate this intention to open the heart to your own well-being by silently offering yourself some phrases of metta. In your head, slowly offer yourself the phrases, may I be happy, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I be at ease. May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I be at ease. So offer these phrases silently in your head, saying them slowly enough so you can connect with their meaning and the intention behind them. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I be at ease. Now you're going to bring to mind a good friend, maybe a loved one, a friend, a teacher, a mentor, or maybe a pet. You can connect with your natural desire to see this person happy and at ease, just like you. This person wants to be happy, to feel safe, and to be healthy. In an effort to cultivate this intention of kindness, you can offer this person a few phrases of metta. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. You can let this person go from your mind and bring to mind a neutral person. This is someone you see maybe regularly, but you don't know very well. It may be somebody who works somewhere you go a lot, a co-worker, or maybe a neighbor. Although you don't know this person well, you can recognize that this person wants to be happy as well. You don't need to know what their happiness looks like necessarily. Again, offer this person the phrases of loving kindness, connecting with the intention to care about their well-being. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. And as you let this neutral person go, you can bring to mind somebody you find difficult. You may not want to pick the most difficult person in your life. Instead, choosing someone who is minorly difficult. Maybe it's someone you find yourself agitated with or annoyed with, which if you're in maybe somebody you're in lockdown with. So you can offer the phrases, recognizing that this is connecting with our intention to care for this person. Although we may not mean it wholeheartedly every time we offer a phrase, we can make an effort with the phrases. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. Now you're taking your attention to everyone in the world, even spread it out to the universe, the galaxy, all beings. offering this phrase to all beings. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. So coming back to yourself, and again, saying to yourself, may I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I be at ease. Just allow sense to reverberate throughout your body, not allowing your mind to wander, coming back to your breath. Your mind wanders. Any thoughts come to you, accept them and set them free. Starting to bring your awareness back into the room. And then opening your eyes when you're ready. Begin to make any movements you want to. I'm going to